Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
All right, so we've done the research now, and also your presence online is professional and something you're proud of. And so now it's time to reach out. It's the moment of bringing it all together for the first time and putting yourself out there. And so the art of the cold contact, I think, right? Like the idea of a cold call is kind of outdated at this point. I mean, when I get a call on my cell phone that I don't recognize the number, I most often don't answer it, right? You push it to voicemail. Perhaps that person decides to text you, but in a lot of ways, most initial contact now has moved to text, right? Text base. And often in the realm of LinkedIn, you only have a little bit of space to do it. Okay,
it's like
so
250 characters.
Yeah, not very much at all. So you got to get it concise and get to the point. So what's most important in the idea of, this cold contact is creating commonality and creating the request for help. And people want to help folks. And so in this, just as you did your research and identified someone with their background, hop on into LinkedIn, you hit connect, and then behind that's going to say, do you want to add a note? And the answer is yes, you do want to add a note. And you would say something along the lines of, Billy, I will be transitioning out of the Marine Corps soon, and I recognized that you have been successful since you were in. Would you be open to briefly connecting for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, to share with me how you've been successful? Best, Wayne. All right, so in that, I am not asking for a job. No one wants to be asked for a job because most people can't give out jobs. No one really can give out jobs. And you're requesting advice. And so inside of this art of the cold contact is creating commonality, creating the kind request, and asking for help.
And then the other piece here is you're also complimenting them.
That's right.
Wayne is telling me I've successfully transitioned. And I'm like, you're right, I have successfully transitioned. And everybody wants to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
And you're just providing them the chance to do this.
Right. Right. And so as you think of the components, when I reach out to someone that I don't know and I'm interested in learning from them, maybe there's a deep interest behind that of becoming employed by that company. But the way to get to that end, the way to get to the end of joining the team is to learn. If it makes sense for them and for you, it will most often result in a role. And so what's baked into this very short message is a compliment, right? Admiration, a kind request. We also have the commonality. And I think some key components too is that many folks think that they're busy, right? And so perhaps from time to time, I'll put into this message, I know you're busy, but it'd be great to briefly connect. And so by saying I know you're busy is a mechanism called disarming. And so in a way, because I say I'm calling out that you're busy, I take away that excuse of I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
So that's, I think it's effective. I would not move that into the category of manipulative, but it is effective in helping to communicate precisely. And so just the components here in the art of the cold contact, right, is the compliment, the commonality, you have the disarming mechanism, and then also the ask, right, for the time, which is very clear and concise. So put those together, reach out to as many folks as you can that are properly connected to you, and that you can then go into that call and ask for their advice and learnings so that way you can move through your own discovery funnel to find the best thing. And that's the virtual connection.
And something that I did that was really helpful for this is I knew that I was going to primarily be reaching out to two different types of people. They were people who had graduated from a military academy and then people who had served in the military. And so I had written out templates of messages that I would send on LinkedIn, and one was written to academy grads, and then the other one was written to veterans. And whenever I had a person that fell into one of these two categories, it was copy, paste, name at the top, send. And I would rattle off 20 at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
And it worked great.
Yeah, increase your luck surface area.
Yeah.
Increase your net in your network. And that's some of the advice that we have around the cold contact when it comes to LinkedIn. And this can also go in the same way in a text message if you happen to have someone's phone number. And then also it can be the same in an email. We certainly recommend that it's short and concise, because long and drawn out ones, most people look at and go, man, I don't have time for
Yeah,
that.
it's nice that LinkedIn keeps you to that like 250, because you really have to trim all of the fat off of what that introduction is, and you're really only putting the parts that matter.
So the next type of way that you are connected with someone is a warm intro, right? So you either don't know them, right? The cold contact, or you're being introduced to them, because we assume that if you already know them, you're just going to reach out and ask for their advice. And so in the warm intro, the situation would be that I know someone that Billy is interested in talking to, and Billy asks me to introduce him to John. Let's go with John.
I like John.
And so in this message, I'm going to first ask John if he wants to talk to Billy, because I don't know if John wants to talk to Billy.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to first ask that. And so behind the scenes, that will occur. And let's say that John says, sure, I'll talk to Billy. What will happen is I will send a message. I will say something like, hey, John wanted to connect you with Billy. He's getting out of the Air Force, some sort of intro thing, so that way we can log what happened. And I'll let you two take it from here. So this occurs. Bam. I just introduced Billy to John.
Pops in my inbox.
Boom, it's in the inbox. Billy, this is a warm intro. What are you doing?
Immediately, and this is very important, I will, as quickly as possible, answer, and I will do two things. I will address both people in the email. At the top, I would say, Wayne, thank you so much for this introduction. It was really awesome getting to chat with you recently. I'm excited to do it again. Something like that. Thank this person for their time, thank them for their help, and then do it publicly as well. Then, right below that, I'll say, John, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm super excited to connect with you soon. When are you willing to discuss? Or when are you willing to connect? What works for you? Something like that. And then, bam, send it. Couple of pieces there. Respond quickly. If you don't, not only are you blowing off the person that said that you were going to help them, you're also doing it in front of another person who also already agreed to help you. So you look disrespectful to two people, and they probably won't help you again. The next piece is you are being very grateful right up front. Again, not one, but two people have agreed to give their time to assist you in this process, which is fantastic. And then finally, you are ensuring you are asking the person who has agreed to give you their time, you are asking them what works best for them, because ideally you're going to make that time work, because again, gratitude first. They're here, you're here for them, they're here to give you information. So that's really the whole anatomy of that response.
Yeah. Do not mess that up. Do not mess that up, because there's someone putting their neck on the line for you.
Yeah.
So
Really their
be
reputation.
respectful of that. Be respectful to them, to the next person, because now not only are you representing yourself, but you're also representing the person that introduced you.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to contacting folks, that's the best, ways that we recommend: the cold contact and the warm intro. And we'll have a lot more information on how to do this and some templates on ways that work for us in the extra content for this section.